In this video, we're going to talk about how to set up image planes for as reference for a modeling project. In this case, we're going to be modeling a vehicle for the purpose of product visualization. And I've gone online and I found a bunch of different visual reference for this car that I'm going to model. This is a BMW C4 Coupe. And I was also lucky enough to find blueprints for the different views of this car. So when we talk about image planes as reference for modeling, we talk about setting up these in our Maya viewport to be able to use these as reference inside the program for modeling purposes. So let's begin. Now I'm going to go ahead and open my Maya. And in order to bring some an image as an image plane through one of our cameras, in this case being our orthographic viewports, you gotta make sure you're in that viewport, but you also need to select that orthographic camera, and you do that by clicking on the select camera icon right here. So by doing that, we've actually selected our front viewport orthographic camera. Then I'm going to go into my attribute editor, and if I go down into environment, I'm just going to click on create, and it creates this node, which is going to be the image plane. And once I'm in here, I'm just going to go ahead into the image name folder and find the image that I'm going to be using for my front viewport. So in this case, it's going to be my image planes, and I'm just going to select this front viewport. Okay. If I go into my perspective viewport, you're going to see it right there, and this is my orthographic front camera right here. But I'm also going to set up image planes for the side and top views for this model. And once I've done that, then I need to go in here and perhaps edit them a little bit to make sure that everything fits properly. So I'm gonna go into my side viewport, and same thing, gonna select my camera, and under image plane I'm gonna create another one and select the side image. Now it's there, and then I'm going to go into my top viewport, select that orthographic camera, create, and then bring up the image for the top. So again, we can tell that not only we can't really use this as reference the way it's set up now, because we need to make sure that they all are somewhat proportional to each other in scale and also facing the right direction. I also want to make sure that they're all resting on the grid rather than being under it. So let's start by fixing this side image plane, and for that I'm going to go into my image plane 2 for my side shape over here, and I want to go to my placement extras, and I'm going to be using the center, which is gonna be my XYZ in my viewport, and also going to be using the width and height for scale if I need to change that. So I obviously need to bring this up, so I'm going to be using the Y to bring that up. Again, I just typed 5 on my y-axis and it brought it up a little bit, but again I want to make sure that it's at 0, 0, 0, so I'm just going to change to my side viewport and keep bringing it up. Seven. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And I'm going to change my other viewports my other image planes to match actually what my side viewport is doing. So now that one's at 0. I'm gonna need to change the scale and also the placement of the front one. So again, I'm gonna select it. I'm in my image plane right now, this in center with height. So we need to bring it up. So on my Y, I'm gonna, let's see, do 5, 7.2 perhaps. That ain't too much. 9. And I also need to scale him down, so I'm gonna go to my width and height and just kind of bring this down a bit. And the width is kind of doing most of the scaling work. But again, I want to make sure that it's proportional to what the side viewport is doing. So I'm gonna need to kind of move this around a little bit to make sure that it's matching. So I might want to move this image plane a little bit back so I can make a contrast between the highest point in my front viewport and the highest point on my side viewport, and that way making sure that it's proportional. So again, I need to scale this down a little bit more, and that might be a little bit too much. Let's do 16. And I need to bring it back on my Z-axis and then down, so let's do that. Do like a -2 over here, maybe a little bit more, -4. That seems to be the right point. And again, I'm trying to contrast the highest point on my front and side viewport to make sure that these two are proportional to each other. So now I need to bring this down on the Y. That's a little bit too much. 5. Alright, and still a little bit bigger than we need to be, so I'm going to bring it down to 15. Maybe 14.5. And again, I might want to go into my front viewport, make sure that this guy's on 0. And right now it's a little bit above, so let's just bring this down a bit. Okay, let's go back to my perspective. Alright, so we're almost there. Again, we're trying to match the highest point on my front and my side, so this needs to be a little bit smaller. Let's put 3, and I'm gonna have to bring down perhaps a little bit too much. Alright, so as you can see, now my front viewport is resting on 0 over here, and also the highest point is matching here. So now we know that the front and side are proportional to each other. So I could take this image plane and kind of move it back a little bit because I don't want it to be at this point. So let's just do something like -12, well, probably -15 on the Z distance. And now we gotta fix the bottom view here. And again, the problem with this one is that it's kind of facing the wrong way, and we don't really have a setting here in our advanced placement extras. In our placement extras to be able to rotate this. So you actually have to select the orthographic top viewport and rotate it yourself. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do, rotate it 90 degrees. This direction. Again, I can go to my channel box and make sure that I'm doing it correctly. So by rotating my top viewport orthographic camera, I was able to rotate the top image plane to just kind of follow what the side and front are doing. And now I need to make sure that this top image plane is actually matches in scale what this one's doing. So again, I can go into my attribute editor into image plane 3 here. In order to be able to compare that, I need to kind of bring it up a little bit on the Y. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Something like this. And let's see, this point right here needs to be, I believe, what's going on here. So it's not, it needs to be a little bit wider than what it is right now. We're probably gonna have to move it back on the z-axis a little bit. I probably want to go into negative right here. It's a little bit too much. But let's just start by scaling this up a little bit. Let's just do 31. Again, that might be a little bit too big, so 30.5 might be just what we need. And then I need to move it back on the negative C by a couple pixels. And again, it's probably a little bit bigger than what I need it to be. Let's just see if it's the... a little bit smaller than this. Okay, and I think that matches quite well. So again, I want to bring this back down to 0. Leave it on the negative 0.2 on the z-axis. And then my last step is going to take this side viewport and actually move it to the back over here. So, and again, this is going to be on the x-axis, I believe. So let's just do a negative 3. Let's try a negative 5, a little bit more. Negative 8. Let's do a negative 7. Alright, and this is going to work really well. So, now I've set up my image planes for my modeling project. And I'm able, and they're proportional to each other, and they're placed in a way that I can actually go into my orthographic, different orthographic viewports, and they're not only they're matching. You know, they are scaled proportionally. So, all right, this concludes the lesson on setting up image planes for a modeling project.